All three of us are back together and better than ever after, hell, it's been like damn near a month, I think, since we've all recorded at once.
Yeah, at least 3 weeks, yeah.
I'd say 3 weeks, 3-4 weeks.
I'd say 3 weeks.
The math, trying to do math in general is tough. On the fly is even tougher, but counting back, not going to be a great start to the podcast here. Kind of like how the Cowboys have not gotten off to a great start this year, or Michigan. Ha, ha, ha. We got the jokes out of the way.
Oh, he made fun of himself.
Yep, that's right. That's right. Can't make fun of me if I make fun of myself. So we've got Week 11 recap here. Week 11 Team of the Week, the NFL Week 10 Team of the Week, and disappointing Team of the Week, and then we'll look ahead to our Week 12 and Week 11 in college football and NFL. The playoff rankings are out, which I don't think we really need to discuss until conference championship week because everything will fall into place. I'm still fully convinced that the committee does these rankings just to stir stuff up and get people talking because if you remember in 2017, Oklahoma, who was going into the playoff, was probably looked like the best, most consistent team outside of the hiccup against Iowa State. And they were consistently ranked like 5th or 6th, like throughout until it got to conference championship week. And then they won the conference championship and then ended up being the 2 seed out of the that year and then losing to Georgia. But I digress. And before we do curveball of the week, I do have a surprise for the Grant and Ethan here, a surprise segment here. We're going to see how they do. But when we cross that bridge when we get there here, but in typical Three Guys Talking Ball fashion, we'll start with our college football Week 11 recap, our team of the week. And with the first pick, it is going to be, hey, Cowboys ain't going to be first in anything, but I got the first pick today.
They very well might get the first pick, so don't get too excited.
That is true. But, that fell out. Okay, we're back.
All right, we're here.
We're here. Second pick is going to be Ethan, and then the caboose, since his NFL team wins all the time with help of the officiating. Patrick Mahomes you could hear it on a hot mic, talking about it. Hey, let me know if they're getting close. Grant gets to be the caboose today. So we'll start my Week 11 Team of the Week. And you know what? I'm all aboard the Lane train. Lane Kiffin got his first big win in probably since he was the USC coach and they beat Oregon that year, Matt Barkley's junior year, when they went into Autzen and won when they were on probation, which was basically their national championship because they were banned from the postseason. And I mean, they out-physicaled Georgia. That was a nasty game. The weather was terrible. All the reasons of you could point to the excuses of why Lane Kiffin doesn't win a big game. And they out-physicaled Georgia. They were the tougher team. They were the more physical team. They forced more turnovers. The game really never felt close at all. And credit to Lane Kiffin. Jackson Dart, after losing to LSU, said we gotta win out. There's no other option. And right now they are setting themselves up very nicely to be one of the representatives from the SEC in the college football playoff.
How far Carson Beck has fallen from last year is absolutely incredible.
Wow.
There's a scout now saying he's barely a day 2 pick. Like, if he would have came out last year, there were some people saying he was the best prospect.
Yeah, well, he was the number 1 prospect going into this year.
And wasn't he the Heisman favorite coming into the season as well?
Probably top 3 to 4, I'd say, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So at least a finalist.
And he's just terrible.
Did you guys see the stat? Like his last 5 games, I think it's 3 interceptions, 2 interceptions, 1 interception, 3 interceptions, 3 interceptions. Like it's horrid. And in the game,
take out that second half versus Alabama, and his stats have to be just god awful.
God awful.
I think I saw something that he's got like 12 interceptions or 12 turnovers in the last 6 games. That's 2 a game.
That's not surprising.
I think so. Because like I said, Dylan, I saw a stat today. I think his last 5 games, it was 3 interceptions, 1, 2, 3, and 3. And when they beat Texas, he threw 0 touchdowns.
Yeah, and it wasn't anything that Georgia's offense did. It was just Texas giving Georgia short fields and Georgia capitalizing on it.
Exactly. And also for Georgia's sake, Dylan, that was the one game this year where they came in and they looked like they were ready to play. These players look like they're under the trap of, hey, guess what? We go to Georgia, we can go into any place, anywhere, and dominate and kick people's ass. That's just not how it works. And that's why when people are saying Kirby Smart is so much farther ahead than Nick Saban was, blah, 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 give me a break. There will never be another Nick Saban because his Alabama teams never laid an egg like this Georgia team did.
It's like the players almost care more about going super fast in cars and getting pulled over and going to jail than actually winning games.
Yes. Well, yeah, with their NIL money, they're just like, hey, I'm going to drive a $150,000 car. And, if I get pulled over by a Clark County sheriff.
I'm going to be like Jim. Oh, we got pulled over too last week, Like.
And they probably grew up watching Henry Ruggs, and they're like, Mama, I want to go fast.
Yeah. I want to be like them. But yeah, honestly, pretty sad season, and now they're on the outside looking in. They're not in the playoff.
And they don't deserve to be.
No.
And I want to look. I'm not going to look ahead. I'm going to hold what I was going to say.
All right.
Okay.
My turn?
Ethan, your turn.
I'm going back to a team that I thought really highly of before the season. Grant can probably name this team. I thought they'd be the big.
Team.
Sucks to suck for you. Should have been second. But I'm going Kansas Jayhawks. Finally playing like they're capable. And at the same point, Iowa fans are rejoicing because it basically guarantees Iowa State will not be in the playoff.
Yes!
I don't even think they were in the rankings anymore at this point. And honestly, no fans actually take that back. Iowa fans shouldn't be cheering. Colorado fans should be cheering because if they win out, they go to the Big 12 championship. And this win helped nobody more than Colorado.
I saw a TikTok. I didn't watch the full video, but I have to go back and find it. But there's a scenario, and there's got to be a lot of ways things break. But West Virginia currently at 5-4, 4-2 in the conference. There's a scenario that if everything breaks their way and they make it to the Big 12 championship and they win, they could potentially be an 8-4 team, 8-4 and seeded
as a top
in the
four
college football playoff. Yes,
they'd be the fourth seed, I think, right?
No,
and they'd get a bye. Oh, that's delicious.
And they'd get a bye.
Yeah,
I'm rooting for it.
I'm rooting for it. Absolutely. Hell yes, I am.
And it is the Big 12, so you cannot rule anything out.
And it's the new age Big 12 is essentially our version of the Pac-12.
I'm actually curious to see what Colorado's schedule is the rest of the year. Now I'm actually going to look.
They got Utah, Oklahoma State, and one other team that they should beat.
Arizona.
I'm not going to say I called Oklahoma State sucking, but I called Oklahoma State sucking.
Yeah, you sure did.
I did. I really did. Are they really not ranked in the...
Who? Colorado?
They're not ranked in the...
No, they're 17.
AP.
The AP, yeah, but they're 17.
So
they play at 11 a.m.
They got Utah, Kansas at Arrowhead. That game is played at Arrowhead because Kansas doesn't have a home.
Right. Yeah, Kansas doesn't have home
stadium right now. And then they finish the year with Oklahoma State at home.
I mean, Kansas is the biggest threat to them, and between them and the Big 12 championship and a top 4 seed.
Yeah.
And I would have said Utah had they have found a way to pull it out, but the way they lost and the way they have been talking, I feel like that's just
their season's done.
Or it has been cut. Their season, they're done. They're ready to take their ball and go home.
And honestly, like I was out in Colorado, I can't even imagine one of these Ole Miss, a Tennessee, Penn State coming out there like that. They were nuts for NDSU. I can't even imagine what this place would be like for like one of those teams comes in the college semifinal or quarterfinal.
Could you imagine a December 28th game in Boulder? What that weather will be like?
God, I guess you wait. They wouldn't play at home, would they?
Well, I thought they did. I thought they got one home game in the semifinal.
if Colorado wins the Big 12, they would get a bye. If they're because they're a top 4 seed, they get a bye. No, the top 4 teams get a
Come
bye.
on. That's so dumb. You almost get penalized almost for getting a top 4 seed.
That's some bullshit.
You know how much fun that would be to get a team out to Boulder in December? That'd be freaking awesome.
Hell yeah, I want to see Tennessee out there in the mountains in the snow.
Yeah. I wouldn't say Tennessee is a good one because they're in the mountains themselves.
Okay, Miami. I want to see
Miami. Yeah, Miami. Yeah.
Yeah.
Miami, I don't know if they're going to be able to make it either.
Well,
now,
Dylan, we're not worried about the current teams. We're just worried about a hypothetical situation of a team going to play out.
Yeah, the Cardiac Canes are not looking great right now.
Which brings me to my team of the week.
Hey.
Being the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets.
Yeah, good pick.
The
nerds.
The nerds.
The nerds get the jocks.
All them engineers. All the analytics.
Those future aerospace engineers down there in Georgia Tech. Right?
Yeah.
They're smart.
That would be a question for Hayden. Hayden, hop in the chat, chime in if you're listening to this, and let us know if what Georgia Tech is, since that is his neck of the woods.
I know it's a very smart school, and I'm pretty sure they're all future rocket scientists.
Oh yeah, it's very hard to get in there. It's a tech school.
Yeah.
And the rank, and he said, according to Hayden and Armchair Banner, so also relevant to piggybacking off of the playoff scenarios, the rankings did just come out here, and thank you, Hayden, for this. But today's rankings right now have Alabama going to Bloomington in round 1 in December.
So
injected into my veins. And he says Georgia Tech is all kinds of engineers.
Oh, okay. So, all right. So smart people.
Okay. Alabama would be a 5-point favorite in that game. All the road teams would be favorites in those scenarios, actually.
That's nuts.
Except for Ohio State. I guess Ohio State would be at home. But I think I saw Tennessee.
Would Ohio State be playing Boise?
Yes, in Columbus.
Oh, my God.
John T could do the unthinkable.
Yes, he could. Donovan Edwards is not going to be able to do it this year, but John T could.
But no, Tennessee would be a 2-point favorite. They would be playing. Who would they be playing again, Dylan? Notre Dame, yes. And then Ole Miss and Penn State would be a pick'em.
Oh, give me the Rebels.
Yeah.
Who did you say Ole Miss was playing?
Penn State. It'd be a pick'em.
Oh, okay.
Damn.
Well, I mean, that would be a rematch of the Peach Bowl from last year, where Ole Miss just destroyed them. Penn State had no interest in being there at all. But anyways, Grant, we're kind of stealing your thunder. I'll let you talk about your nerds.
Well, yeah, just coming now. This feels like for this coaching staff and this Georgia Tech team, this was the win that they needed. Like now, like I said, this coaching staff can look at these players and say, "Hey, everything that we're preaching, guys, can come to fruition if we do what we just did in the second half in this game." Because Miami this year, what were they, 3-0 in games when they were down by 10 in the second half in the third quarter? So when they're down by 10 Saturday, everyone's thinking, we got them right where we want them. We're going to come back. We're going to get these guys. Cam Ward's going to win the Heisman this year. Miami's going to go undefeated. But no, Georgia Tech, they buckled down, and they got stops when they needed to in the second half, and they turned the Canes over, and they got a big win. Like I said, this could be a program-defining win for Georgia Tech, going forward in an ACC conference that, frankly, isn't that good going forward. So Georgia
Pretty
Tech,
awful.
With the football players and the recruits you have down there in that state and the surrounding area, and now that they're actually finally playing a real offense, you can build this team and win the ACC for years to come now, I feel.
And
Miami's leading. That's right.
The other part too is the Georgia Tech game has not been close these last couple of years. I think this might be the first year that, especially the way that defense is able to turn the ball over and the way Carson Beck likes to give to the other team.
Give it to the other team.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a Cowboys quarterback. This is that's going to be an interesting game the Saturday after Thanksgiving. But no. Ethan, who do you got? Or no, Grant.
Hey, me again.
Yeah, and actually, yes, and Grant, since you have not really followed through on one of the things you said you were going to do this year, or I said you were going to do, you agreed to Why are the Cardinals your NFL Week 10 team of the week?
Dylan, you've actually read my fucking mind.
I had them as my first. I had them as my first as well. First place.
Actually, you know what? I was gonna dial it in and give more credit to Jonathan Gannon in the Arizona Cardinals, because we all mocked the media all mocked him when he left Philadelphia. He wasn't too focused in that Super Bowl. His players were calling him out because he wasn't making adjustments. The day after, he goes to meet Kyler, and they had that awkward dap up in the hallway. Blah 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 blah. Well, guess what? Last year they were 3-14 and they fought hard. This year we were like, they're going to win 5-6 games, but you know what? They're going to fight and scratch and claw, and they're going to end someone's season that they shouldn't end. Well, guess what? We're 10 weeks in, and Arizona's 6-4, and they're first place in the NFC West. Let's give Jonathan Gannon his flowers right now, because you know what?
Mm-hmm.
Philadelphia could use him. They could have used him last year. He wasn't the problem. This team, they fight hard, and you know what? This roster's still not that good, and it's only going to get better these years going forward with these draft picks that they have. And Kyler Murray is looking like, wait for it, guys, wait for it. He's looking like an MVP candidate right now. With the way he's
that's like 3 weeks, yeah.
Arms. Every week he's got that 1 or 2 big plays with his legs, and they just look dialed in. You know what? They've beaten the Rams, and they beat San Francisco this year in San Fran.
So they play Week 18 again to end the regular season. There is a potential that could be a winner is in, losers out situation.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you
that could be the Sunday
night game.
Final Sunday night game.
Dylan, look at it like this. In the NFC East, you got the Eagles and the Commanders. More than likely, as of right now, both of those teams are going to make the playoffs. And then the NFC North, Vikings, Packers, Lions. Well, boom, right there between those two divisions, there's your 3 wildcard spots. Who would have thought, like you said, Dylan, Jonathan Gannon and the Arizona Cardinals, Week 18, home game in the desert against the Niners for all the marbles. And they went out there and they straight up embarrassed the Jets. And the most thing I was impressed with is how good Arizona's offense was against what I thought was still a good Jets defense. Jets offense, yeah, it's patchwork. It's a work in progress, and it's not going to get fixed for at least 2 years now. But that Jets defense is legit. At least we thought it was, and Arizona was in command doing what they wanted to do. And they looked amazing. And we might be looking back at Aaron Rodgers' Hall of Fame career and saying that the Arizona Cardinals ruined him. The Arizona Cardinals killed Aaron Rodgers when the Jets went to 3-7.
They did.
And watching the Cardinals, like you look at Kyler Murray, where you always see him scrambling around and kind of not in rhythm. This year, where he's playing within the confines of the offense, and he still has that explosive ability, but he haven't felt the need to completely use it. James Conner's running the ball hard. They've got a good running attack. Trey McBride is an incredible tight end, very underrated tight end that nobody talks about. And then the defense. Outside of Budda Baker, this is as close to a no-name defense you're going to see. Budda Baker, I think, has to be in the discussion for the Defensive Player of the Year, the way he's playing.
And another thing that I really noticed is, like you said, Dylan, with this, we can call it this no-name defense there in Arizona, with how hard they play. That's all on Jonathan Gannon. That's all on the head coach. Because, like I said, I go back to Philadelphia when he was there in 2022. No defense in the NFL played harder than that Philadelphia team. Nobody flew around faster than they did. Last year, guess what? Philadelphia looked like they didn't want to be on the field last year playing defense. This guy's a motivator, and he gets men to want to play for him. And you know what? People now in this offseason coming up, they're going to be like, why don't I want to go to Arizona and play for him? And play with a guy like a healthy Kyler Murray.
It's a little bit similar. If you go a little bit north, you talk about awkward exchanges, their first days. Go look at Deshaun Foster. Got mocked at Big Ten Media Days, probably rightfully so for his awkward press conference. And look at them. They're probably the most improved team in the Big Ten this year after just beating Iowa. They've been in a lot of games. They just haven't found a way to finish. And right now there's a lot of reason for within the college football. I don't know if UCLA has any fans, but a lot of optimism for UCLA as an ascending program here. But going back to the Kyler Murray, the other thing is the jokes are that once the new Call of Duty comes out, this is where he really takes a dive. He is 3-0 since the new Call of Duty has come out. And maybe he's been listening to us where we talk about we want our quarterbacks to be presidential. We want them to be the guys wearing the suits, the first one in, last one out type. Maybe it has finally clicked with him and his teammates are finally buying in, and he has kind of shook that narrative of him being a bad teammate.
Maybe he needed, call me crazy, maybe he needed to go through an ACL repair where he truly thought he could lose it, and then to come back last year and be on a 3-14 team to re-energize and get that love for the game again. You know what? He's not at Allen High School in Texas where he's 43-0 as a starter. He isn't at the University of Oklahoma where he has all the talent in the world. He doesn't have DeAndre Hopkins and Larry Fitzgerald anymore. He had to sit back and learn to re-love the game. And again, I'm going to credit Jonathan Gannon to that, because when you're coaching a team last year when they're 2-10, that's hard to do. That's hard to motivate players. But guess what? It looks like this team is listening to everything he has to say. And look where they're at now. They're at 6-4, number one team in the NFC West right now. And if the season ended today, the Minnesota Vikings are playing the Cardinals in the playoffs, a team that Jonathan Gannon coached for, in his strings being an assistant.
He coached for the Vikings?
I believe it was 1 year. He was the either defensive backs coach or assistant defensive backs coach in 2017.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That was that was the year they played for the NFC Championship game then.
Mm-hmm. I want to say he was assistant defensive backs coach. I could be wrong, but I know he spent at least a year in Minnesota.
Okay. Ethan, who do you got for your Week 10 team of the week?
I'm going to Miami. Going with the Dolphins.
Good choice.
Actually. Big win out on the West Coast. Flying across the country is never easy. But no, their defense is carrying them right now, which is extremely surprising. Coming into the year, I didn't think they'd have a good defense at all. And even the beginning of the year. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like they're finally getting a little healthy up front, and they're starting to get after it. Even the run game, like they were getting just gashed the first 6-7 weeks. Last 3 weeks, completely different story. Kyron Williams completely in check last night. They look good. And once this offense gets going, like, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I think their holes are probably a little too deep right now. But at the same time, like, Broncos, I think, are in a playoff spot. They're 5-5. So, like, things are falling in place for them to make a run if they can continue this hot streak.
And I want to say their schedule sets up fairly nice for them coming up. I believe I'm pulling it up right now. They have the Raiders at home.
They've already played the Bills.
They got the Patriots
twice.
The Packers, which is probably a loss, and then the Jets, who are throwing.
Is it in Green Bay?
I think it's in Green Bay.
In Green Bay, yes. It's
it's on Thanksgiving. It's Thanksgiving.
Oh, okay.
On the cock.
Is it on the cock? Just the cock?
It is on the cock. NBC Peacock Universal.
It's on the cock.
It's on the cock.
It's on the cock. If you don't have,
well, I know what I'm watching on Thanksgiving. The cock.
I'm watching the cock.
Oh.
The greatest thing we've ever came up with.
Oh, the best thing any sports has ever done. Putting show games on the cock.
On the cock.
Yep. Big 10 on the cock.
I mean, honestly, like
Gamecocks on the cock.
Dude, Kentucky looks really freaking good right now. Dude. I'm just gonna say that.
That's good. So we can pencil in that Kentucky is going to be going to the Final Four again, like we usually do.
Well, I will say this.
They actually have.
Calipari's not there anymore. There's a real chance Mark Pope actually can do something with them in the postseason.
That's what I'm saying. They actually have a real coach there. And
they have a real coach.
Not a salesman.
Not a sleazebag.
God, he's such a snake.
Congrats, Arkansas, though. Your Tyson money got him.
Tyson and Walmart.
Yep.
But my Week 10 team of the week is going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers. Grant was going to go Rusty last week. No, I don't. You can't even put him as disappointing because there was. I didn't have much hope going into that game, and then it was like they're averaging 2.3 yards an attempt. There was no hope there. Especially, and then Zeke fumbles it. And
I had them on my list, but then I took them off because I'm like, wow, they suck so bad. It's not even worth it.
You know, I broke one of my I broke one rule I normally never break in the football season. After work on Sunday, I went to the gym instead of going home to watch this game because
Good for you.
Like Dylan, we knew this was going to happen. Nothing against you, but
I was holding out some form of hope, mirror of positivity, but after Zeke fumbled, and I texted you guys, this is done. This is over.
Mm-hmm.
It is finished. But the Steelers are my team of the week. Grant was sussy for Rusty last week. I'm sussy for Rusty this week. And have you guys seen the Reddit post about I don't know who posted this. Some Steeler. It was actually horseradish trombone. I will read this to you
guys. Guy.
I'm not gay, but I want to live in a log cabin in the woods with Russell Wilson. We won't ever have sex, but there will be a simmering erotic undercurrent as I stand in the kitchen window watching him tighten his ass as he chops wood shirtless, sweat pouring off his body. I'll run upstairs and masturbate the entire time, forcing myself to think of women while my thoughts drift back to Russell. I won't be able to climax, and I'll eventually go back downstairs angry. Sometimes we will look across the table, catch each other's eyes, and in that second, anything is possible. But we both deny ourselves and go back to what we were doing. One day, one of us will die, and the other will bury him outside of the log cabin. Then he'll go inside, pen a brief missive to his departed friend, and commit suicide, never able to deal with the life without his true one platonic love.
Oh my God. That's the greatest thing I've ever had someone read to me in my whole life.
Do you know who Jersey Jerry is?
I've heard
from Barstool.
Yeah.
So he was the guy that did the hole-in-one stream, and he finally got it. He was like trending on Twitter.
Yeah, for like 27 hours or some shit.
Yep. And he the rumor around Barstool is that that's who that is. It's just a burner account of That's Jersey awesome. Jerry because who's a Steelers fan.
As you guys would expect, Clay Travis is just going absolutely batshit crazy over the college football playoff rankings, having Indiana, BYU, Miami, and Notre Dame ahead of Alabama, Ole Miss, and Georgia.
Well, Georgia has 2 losses.
It's like
Alabama has 2 losses.
You really think they could? Yeah. Do you really think they could beat these teams? I mean, Vanderbilt did. So yeah, I do fucking think they can beat
Vanderbilt
them.
did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely think they can beat them.
Like, take the SEC cock out of your mouth there, Clay.
Yeah, he's watching the cock, but it's a different cock. It's the real thing. It has SEC tattooed on
it. It's like, dude, it's November 12th. Calm down. It's going to be fine.
This is exactly why we don't get fired up about it, because we know it's all going to play itself out. Of all the years that we have had questions of, like, has the committee ever had to make this tough decision? There's been 2 years where the committee has had to make a tough decision. The first year of the playoff, where they chose Florida State over TCU or Baylor.
Ohio State.
Don't get me started.
Ohio State. And last year, where they chose Alabama over Florida State, which was in the end being the right call, judging by the way the games were.
Yes.
They were 1-1.
Yeah.
So
I don't think like that. At bottom of it's not going to be easy to get though. Like there's going to be a lot of 10-2, maybe a 9-3
even
team
a 9-3.
Like it's going to get heated. So like if the SEC team doesn't get in, he's going to go batshit crazy. So it is what it is.
Greg Stanky's going to be forming a new league if they don't get at least 4 teams in.
He's going to create his own playoff, and they're going to call themselves the national champions. It's just going to be the SEC round robin.
It's gonna. Are they turning into 2017 Central Florida?
The SEC in general.
Hey, yeah, that's my national champion.
Of course,
they got a car.
They got a car.
Scott Frost.
I am so mad right now.
The fact that he doesn't have a job still is incredible.
Grant is not even triggered.
Not even an analyst. That's how bad he was. He couldn't even get an analyst job.
Yeah. Well, if you've heard of the stories around him in Lincoln, Oh, I cannot wait for the book on the Scott Frost era in Nebraska to come out because, oh boy,
who's your friend there? We gotta
some
get him on just to talk about the Scott Frost stories.
Nate Rohr.
Nate, yes.
Maybe I don't know if we could get him to actually say much. I think if we just got him into a call and had him tell stories while we weren't recording, an off the record show, it would be like one that like we would love to air, but we could never do it because we would just destroy our relationship with the guy, and he's been nothing but great to us. So maybe someday when we're done recording, we can see if we can get him to stay on and see if he can tell us some stories. But last summer I was in a golf scramble with a guy that works for Congo, and he was telling stories. No, the Congo, it's a beverage. They sell like Prime, Milani New, those beverages. And he was telling me stories about things going on with Scott Frost. But we are way off topic here. I was talking about being sussy for Russie and
yeah, my God, how did we end up talking about Scott Frost in Nebraska? Wow.
I don't know.
Well, Ethan interrupted us and started talking about how Clay was had his panties in a bunch about the playoff rankings.
Blame me. It's fine. It was a good conversation.
It was.
Mike Tomlin, that's why he gets paid the big bucks to make that tough decision. Go with Russell Wilson. You actually see the threat of a downfield pass. The effort, George Pickens is down there somewhere, had an incredible catch. And with that defense, it's just don't put them in bad spots, and they're going to be in a lot of games. As long as, knock on wood, TJ Watt stays healthy. The Steelers team, we all picked them to take last in the AFC North, and which is really dumb because if Mike Tomlin's the head coach who just knows how to be a head coach and manage the game, which is very much a lost art form in today's head coaching ranks. We should make a rule on this show is that when we do our predictions every year, that we cannot put the Steelers in last place in the AFC North.
Fair.
All right. That makes me. I'm my disappointing team of the week. Oh,
real quick. Two things. One, the video. This Pittsburgh team is reminding me a lot of those early Russell Wilson Seattle teams.
Yeah.
They're running the ball well. Russell's taking his shots with play action. Still has that beautiful long ball in a defense that just terrifies the daylight out of people in front of them and knows how to turn the ball over. And two, the video of the Steelers players and coaches reacting after they got the Commanders to jump off sides and fourth down. I love watching that video because I'm finding a new person to watch every single time, and it gets better and better.
They look like they're having fun.
They look like they're having fun.
They look like and the big knock with Russell Wilson, and I think this is, give credit to him for humbling himself. He had those awkward years towards the end where it was like they need to let him cook and be the star of the show, where instead he's turned more into crockpot Russell, and they've done a tremendous job. Mm-hmm. And I think Russell has found his love for football again and isn't trying to be Mr. Big Shot or Mr. Unlimited. But you
don't see him at midfield anymore with the football out doing this like he did before they played Seattle.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So my disappointing Week 10 team of the week, and I don't know if I really want to. I'm going to put them as my disappointing team, and it's more so just because I really want to tell this story more than anything, and it's the Jacksonville Jaguars. So Sunday, I went over to my grandma's house, and her and I had lunch, and we turned football on. We were watching the Vikings Jaguars, and they pan to Trevor Lawrence, and my grandma looks at me and goes, "Was that a girl on the sideline?" And I was like, "No, that's their quarterback." But Trevor, it's time, man. You got to cut the hair. When my grandma is asking if you're a girl, you need to cut the hair, grow up. You're not 18-year-old surfer bra cool guy from Georgia playing in Clemson anymore. You're the face of an NFL franchise. You need to look the part here, and especially when you're throwing your hair back after every time you put your helmet on, you waste your time. You can't see the ball. You can't see the receivers clearly. It's just absolute disappointment in Jacksonville. And you had 4 turnovers given to you on a silver platter, and you can still only score 7 points.
7 points.
Ethan,
who did you pick? I missed that part.
I went with the Jaguars because my grandma thought Trevor Lawrence was a girl.
I could see that with a helmet on for sure.
He wasn't because he wasn't playing.
That's fair. But I could also still see it. I'm going with the Bears. I'm sorry, Matt Eberflus, but getting rid of the OC is not going to do anything. You are literally being rest in peace. Billy Mays slapping that damn tape on the water thing. That's all it is. It's just a temporary solution. It's not going to get you anywhere. You're still going to get fired. And they still suck. Caleb Williams is kind of who we anticipated he would be coming out of college. He isn't used to an offense. He's going to run around. He's going to get sacked. It's exactly what we're seeing. Yeah, 9 times in a week. Yeah. It's exactly what we're seeing right now. He had a couple good games versus dog shit teams. Defense is adjusted, and he's going back to running around like it's USC playing Utah. It just doesn't work that way in the NFL. You got to be able to make the reads. You got to be able to make the throws on time, and they just don't have him prepared to do it. Great defense, but again, you can't pair a rookie quarterback with a defensive-minded coach. It just doesn't work. It's happened how many times now where we've seen this? It never works unless you bring in some very good OC, which this guy they brought in isn't it.
He was fired from
and
Seattle.
He's not even their OC anymore.
No, he's not. Ex-OC.
And then Jackson Smith and Jigba, before the season starts, pretty much told Bears fans, good luck with this new guy.
Yeah.
I also would like to say I said Matt Eberflus would be fired in August. So I'm feeling good about that.
Yeah, that one. I mean, it's like the Bears, I think, are too classy to fire him during the season, but there's no way in hell he's back next year.
No, because Ryan Poles is going to want to save his job. And he's
honestly, can Poles even save his job?
I don't think he can.
You're not taking the North. You've never taken the North, and it's definitely just staying where it's at. It's never not going back.
No, I don't think Poles probably should lose his job, but I think so the Bears aren't such an embarrassment, and they fired another coach, another GM. He'll say, well, look at the return I got for the DJ Moore and the Bryce Young trade and blah, 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 blah. Look at the players and the pieces we have. I just need to get the right coach in here. He'll butter his way up to keep his job for another year, but I don't anticipate him being around
I can't see him staying much longer either.
No.
Well, you live in Chicago. It's cold, it's windy, it's miserable. But hey, they got
in the summer it is
receivers.
Hella nice.
Yeah.
I love the city. I love visiting there. But if you're building a football team, you shouldn't have receivers as your top priority, because if you invest or you think Caleb Williams is going to end up the way you think he's going to end up, and the reason you took him number 1, he's only going to be as good as his protection. And they are not they're a Madden team, as Michael Lombardi likes to call it. They're a Madden team. They got cool receivers, but their O-line is still terrible.
That wasn't the problem this week, though. It was him not throwing the ball. There was 3 or 4 plays that Dan Orlovsky showed. It's just terrible. He's holding it for 4 seconds.
You can't block NFL.
He's afraid to make a mistake too.
You can't block NFL defensive linemen for more than 4 seconds.
No.
They're going to get home.
Yeah.
And especially a good Patriots defense.
He's just not comfortable throwing it into NFL windows, which, no offense, that's not 5 yards cushion like you have in college. It's you maybe have a yard. That's a good window.
And also, guys,
the NFL, you have to throw guys open. You don't get.
He does not have anticipation.
It's the same thing with Justin Fields. The same reason he didn't work out in Chicago is because Justin Fields was hitting guys that had nobody around him.
Well, he has plenty of guys around him. He walked into the best situation out of any of the quarterbacks.
No, I mean No, I mean as far as like receivers, there's nobody like they're wide open.
Oh yeah. No,
around
yeah.
him.
You have to throw him open.
Well, and guys, the Caleb Williams regression goes back to last year at USC. Yes,
Yeah.
his defense was terrible last year, and he's running around and he's making plays. But when you look at him as a quarterback, his level of play has decreased pretty much every week since last year's Washington game.
And that was a game they lost too.
And that was a game they lost too. Yeah. And he's too emotional. You can tell all this losing is affecting him, and it's putting a negative effect on his play, where he's not getting any better every week.
You're telling me a guy that paints his nails is emotional?
I'm just saying.
In
the words of Vice President-elect J.D. Vance, he's got low T.
He's got low T.
There you
That
go.
is for sure. Grant, who do you got for your disappointing team of the
And
week?
why is it the Cowboys?
It's not the Cowboys. We're staying in the state of Texas.
He has to watch. He has to watch that game for him to be disappointed.
That's true.
Yes.
He was smarter than us too.
I'm going to stay in the state of Texas, and I'm going to go with the Houston Texans. Like, they're now sitting at 6-4, still leading the AFC South. But these last two games that I've watched, they have been abysmal. Like I've watched.
Look more like the Oilers.
They look like the Texans with Matt Patricia was there. Like,
that's not good.
It's not good. Or sorry, not Patricia. Bill O'Brien. I'm sorry.
Old white guy. It's the same thing.
Yeah, it's someone who
David Culley.
That's not that bad, Dylan.
Mike Zimmer.
Speaking of bad defenses, but this
Freddie
Houston
Kitchens
team,
of the Browns.
just stop doing
Brad Childress.
Like
we're gonna give Grant a stroke here, saying all these bad coaches.
Oh my God, Romeo Crennel in Kansas City.
Todd Haley in Kansas City.
Oh my God.
Mike McCarthy.
Recollect himself here. We have his brain in a pretzel.
Oh, figure it out. But no, it's almost like this Houston team. They had a nice little run at the end of the year last year to get to 9-8, and they win one playoff game against a crappy Browns team, and then all of a sudden they're drinking the Kool-Aid, listening to everyone saying how great they are, and they're gonna go to the AFC title game. I understand you're without Nico Collins and now Stephon Diggs for the last 3 weeks, but like CJ Stroud, go out and make a play. Like, you were the rookie of the year last year. Everybody was saying how much Carolina messed up by not taking you and taking Bryce Young. Well, if you want to be a superstar in this league, you have to go out and be that guy when you don't have your best players or when you don't have your best night. Looking across the field in that game, Jared Goff throws 5 interceptions, and that Detroit team, they hang in there, and they get a couple turnovers themselves on CJ, and Detroit comes out winning this game, which another game that Houston let slip away. And the way this AFC playoff picture is shaping up right now, Houston, yeah, they very well might win the AFC South, but guess what? They're going to have to play possibly a Los Angeles Chargers team or the Baltimore Ravens or Pittsburgh Steelers in the first round of the playoffs. And with the defensive fronts that Houston has, that those teams have, and how weak Houston's offensive line is, they're going to be one and done in the playoffs this year. Again, just like the Chicago Bears, they go out and they get Keenan Allen and they draft Rome Odunze this year with DJ, and they pay DJ Moore. You can't block for Caleb Williams. What was Houston's thing last year? Horrible center, horrible two-guard combination, 2 good tackles, but they're always injured. They don't do anything to address the offensive line. But we're going to go out, we're going to get Diggs, him, Tank Dell, Dalton Schultz, Nico Collins, Joe Mixon.
Their left guard's out now, too, I'm pretty sure.
There you go. It's like
Caden Green or something, maybe? I can't remember.
Yeah, something Green, the first round pick. Do you think you're playing 7-on-7? Like, do me a favor and upgrade your offensive line, protect CJ, get that running game going, and make sure CJ's not going to die. I don't know what Houston is doing. They look lost as a team, and almost D'Amico's got to fix this, because if he doesn't get this thing figured out, this thing is going to free fall fast. And luckily they're in the AFC South, but they're going to be one and done, and they're going to have some soul searching to do this year. If they can't figure this out.
So you're saying the Cowboys have a chance?
No. They're in the AFC, buddy.
Well, they play this week, Ethan, on Monday.
Oh yeah, Monday night. That's right. No, they still don't have a chance. No, my guy Joe Mixon's going to go for 160.
I hope I'm not playing him. I hate fantasy football.
No, I don't.
What?
Yeah, if he's playing you, there's a good chance he's going off.
What do you got for your week? Let's go over to back up to college football here. What do you got for your week 12 college football game of the week?
You know, I'm gonna go to the ACC guys, and we're gonna start with a nice 11 o'clock kickoff, and I'm guessing which is just an absolute great city. I'm kidding, but Pittsburgh. I'm gonna go Clemson versus Pitt. Two teams.
The baseball field looks like a beautiful, beautiful setting. PNC Park does look beautiful.
Let's call it spade a spade. It's probably the most beautiful ballpark in baseball. Sorry, Ethan. Sorry to the people of Colorado.
It's fine.
But
we're not all smart, and it's fine.
Don't get me wrong. Target Field is great, but PNC is better.
You haven't been there, so you can't confirm it.
Based off the pictures, I'm taking PNC. But
yes, just ask Dylan what the houses look like based off of photos. I can tell you it's not all the same.
Okay, fair. You got me there. But two teams in the ACC that are 7-2, we really don't know how the top of the ACC is going to be this year, and this is essentially an elimination game.
SMU.
With SMU at the top, Miami's still there. Clemson having to play South Carolina the last game of the regular season. Their conference games are dwindling. And the winner of this game still has an outside shot to get to Charlotte and play for an ACC title and a spot in the college football playoff. And also a team like Clemson, coming off a bad loss to Louisville 2 weeks ago, and they won on the road last week to Virginia Tech. It's do or die time, not only for this season, but for Dabo Swinney's job in this program. Because if he goes 9-3 again this year, but doesn't make it to an ACC conference championship game and misses the playoff, that magical little spell he had over everyone in college football is gone. Clemson, there's not a whole lot of NIL money right there. He doesn't go in the transfer portal. What those fans had from 2016 to 2020 will look like light years away if they don't win this game and somehow get to Charlotte. So huge game for both of these teams just for this season, but also just the morale of their program.
Yeah.
SMU, how mad do you think Eric Dickerson and who was the other running back that they had? Craig James. Knowing that they got the death penalty and now they can pay. That is a school that is in a perfect location. They got all sorts of money because they're a private school.
Yep.
They're in Dallas. A lot of money there. They're in basically Highland Park, which is like the richest part of Dallas. That is going to be a team that's going to be a force to be reckoned with here in the Big 12.
Gene Taylor was actually an intern when when the death penalty went into effect there.
Really?
Yep. He was. I was talking to him about it when I was at Iowa. Yeah. Crazy story.
That's fascinating.
Sounds awesome. I saw it's on Netflix. I might have to go back and watch that sometime.
Yeah, it was
Ethan, what do you got for your week 12 game of the week?
That's funny. I brought up Gene Taylor. I'm going with Arizona State and Kansas State. Wow, what a lean in! Can you believe that? Wow, look at me go. Gosh, I'm good at this. No, I mean, one of the 12 teams that could win the Big 12 title, it seems like this year. Two teams of the 12. It's both 7-2. I have no idea what Arizona State's conference record is. I think Kansas State has one loss, if I remember correctly.
They have 2 losses.
They have 2 losses now, too.
Arizona State does.
Like I said, anyone can win. West Virginia can win. It's every game is big in the Big 12 right now. And this one, pretty sure it's in Kansas State, so that's obviously huge. But Arizona State's been playing some damn good football based off of their schedule, just kind of the scores and stuff. So sneaky pick. I'm taking Arizona State.
That is who I had. Now I'm scrambling a little bit here.
Forks up.
I was gonna say Utah.
Broken.
I was gonna say Utah, Colorado, but that game
Utah sucks. I mean, you could go Missouri, South Carolina. That's a solid top 25 matchup.
South Carolina is going to destroy Missouri.
That doesn't mean it's not going to be a good game. The people don't need to know that.
South Carolina is 12-point favorite at home. They will win by 2 or 3 touchdowns.
Is Cook playing?
Is Cook playing? Is Brady playing? Do we know?
Based off that line, I would say no.
That's
It doesn't sound. He didn't finish the game on Saturday. I know
he
that.
Didn't play last,
He didn't play at all. He hasn't played in like 3 weeks.
You know what? Why not? I would say Georgia, Tennessee, but Nico is out.
That's just too obvious.
Nico's out?
He's got concussion. Yep.
Oh well, I thought Tennessee.
Well, that's less than ideal. That puts a kink in things.
Well, that does.
Tennessee's offense
if Carson Beck keeps turning the ball over, you never know.
Matter.
This is in Georgia, right?
It's in.
This is inside the hedges. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with Ethan's his week 11 team of the week. Kansas goes to BYU. BYU coming off an emotional win, a game that, well, according to Utah, was stolen from them, which is crazy that we never got a very good look at the defensive holding. All they showed was that way above top camera angle, and you couldn't see anything from that. And
their AD scheduled a press conference after the game just to berate the officials. Like, I've never seen that in my life.
He was berating the officials on the sideline. Grant, that was your team of the week here. I don't know. I know you had to work early Sunday morning, so I doubt you stayed up for it. But
I did not. I
did not see it.
I went to bed at halftime, and I'm thinking Utah's going to win this thing. And also selfishly, I'm kind of a Kyle Whittingham stan. And then all of a sudden, I wake up the next morning to Dylan's text, and there was like, I hope BYU is soaking this in. And I was like, well, the Cougs won, so that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I didn't see any of it. I just saw their AD got fined $40K, which is not a small fine.
Yeah, and then he went, like I said, I saw his press conference where he said this game was stolen from us. I'm going to talk to these Big 12 officials. This is just a bunch of bullshit, yada, yada, yada. I'm like, holy smokes.
Oh, yeah, this dude was coming for fucking blood.
Yeah. And what did he say? Like, they haven't played this game in, 11, 12 years? I think
something like that.
He started out with his press conference with that, and he goes, we've been waiting 12 years for this game, and to have it stolen from us like this, it's just unacceptable. It's like, whoa.
Yeah, the dude did not hold back.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything like that.
And honestly, good for him. Like, stand up for your school. Like, we need more of that. We do.
Need more of that.
You need to hold these refs accountable. If I didn't see the play, I don't know what happened. But either way, I love the fire. That coach knows he has his back. Like, that's what you want in a boss.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, they never showed a good angle of it. But before that call, there may have been one defensive holding call all game. And I think that's probably why he was so fired up.
Fourth down, right?
It was fourth down, and it was BYU was dead in the water. They were throwing it for their own end zone, and they got new life, and they were able to get it within field goal range, and they kick a field goal and win. That basically gave BYU all the momentum. It took the air out of the stadium. It took the air out of the players. Took the air out of the coach. And
because the game was in
BYU
Salt Lake,
keeps
right?
them. Yes, I also did not know that Kyle Whittingham went to BYU, but went and played at BYU.
Oh, no shit!
Well, there's a fun fact for you.
Wow.
Him and the coach for BYU, whose name I'm not even going to try to pronounce because I'll butcher it.
Fair,
but
it's fine.
Jaden Daniel, Kansas, they haven't played well all year, coming off a big win over beating Iowa State. Does this give them the confidence? Catch BYU kind of napping after their big emotional letdown. Something to keep an eye on here. And we'll
Dylan, real quick. You know how Miami kind of finally had their letdown where they did come back from being down 10 points the second half. You got to wonder if it's finally coming for BYU, where these random little breaks that they're catching all the time, it's eventually going to catch up and rear its ugly head.
It could. But my Week 11 NFL game of the week here is, I think, my Week 10 team of the week, Steelers versus Ravens. A little bit of a shame that this is not the Sunday night game, but still going to be a tremendous game. You know, is the Sussy for Rusty? Is that going to continue? The Ravens defense is still a question mark, and probably a reason why I'm hesitant to put them with the other top two teams in the AFC with the Chiefs and Bills. But this game, I think it's going to be a slow defensive battle. And Grant giving the thumbs up here. I don't know how he did that.
There's no way in hell this is with the Ravens defense and Kyle Hamilton didn't practice today. There is not. That's going to be a lot of points.
It might be. It depends. Well, there's still questions about the Steelers. I think the Steelers are going to try to take the air out of the ball. The Ravens are going to try to look for explosive plays, which is going to be tough to come by on the Steelers defense. But still going to be a fun game to watch. Anytime these two teams play, you know it's going to be a slobber knocker.
Slobber knocker.
It's a great word to describe this game whenever these two teams play.
Hope they use that word on the cock this weekend.
Oh, the cock.
Who needs why hawk Tua when you can slobber knocker?
Yeah.
Yeah, screw Haley Welsh or whatever the hell her name is.
She's so irrelevant. She got her money and now she's quit her job and she's screwed.
I hope she goes bankrupt and just goes back to Tennessee and lives an awful life.
Jeez, that's aggressive.
Grant giving her the hawk Tua.
And I did in fact spit on that thing.
we know what you and Caleb did all those years when you shared your bedroom together.
Oh God, it was steamy. Let's just say that.
Steamy, he says.
Okay, I'm gonna go with a game that has massive playoff wild card implications. One from each conference. Falcons and Broncos out in Denver.
Ooh.
Kirk, is he going to bounce back? Didn't have the best game versus Saints somehow. I guess fired coach, new energy. Coach. Yeah, it always happens. But they don't have the best run defense. The Broncos don't. So Bijan could go crazy. I know Surtain is a stud, but are they going to be able to control Mooney? So there's a lot of variables here. Atlanta's defense sucks. Can Bo Nix take control of it? Gonna be a good game. Could go either way. I hope Drake London and Bijan have good games. Grant, for your sake, I hope Kirk has a good game. And then we're all happy.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And I suppose that leaves me with my game of the week. And for the first time this year, I'm going to take my team. How about the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo
versus the Bills?
Versus the Bills.
We skipped Thursday Night Football. Second straight week of phenomenal Thursday Night Football matchup.
I know, and you know what? I had it on there, guys, but I
did too.
But I was just like, you know what? With the way the cards fell, I was like, give me the Chiefs Bills.
I wanted Falcons versus Broncos because I picked the Broncos to make the playoffs, and sure shit, we're right here. We almost have it.
Right there. And just, Kansas City's 9-0, Buffalo's 8-2. Whenever these two teams get together, it's going to be a tough, physical, hard-scoring game. I think in their last 6 or 7 games, they've all scored the same amount of points. This is becoming close to Carolina Duke competitive levelness with these two teams. They're almost guaranteed to play each other twice a year. They know what the other team is going to do, when they're going to do it. It's just a matter of execution. And for right now, this could be a possible divisional round AFC title home game matter for these teams, and who gets a bye or who doesn't get a bye. And the reason why that's important is last year, Kansas City played that cold, frozen game on a Saturday against Miami. Well, due to the blizzard in Western New York, the Bills had to play the Steelers on Monday. So the Chiefs had an extra 36 hours to rest up and get better compared to what Buffalo had. Buffalo went into that game with no healthy, I think three active linebackers. They had no backup linebackers, and they were just a banged-up football team. And you don't realize how much
they actually outgained the Chiefs in rushing yards.
Yes, and they dominated.
And they were a missed kick away from going to overtime, potentially winning.
And a Stephon Diggs drop from maybe scoring a touchdown in the playoffs there.
Yeah.
So just whenever these two teams play, it's going to be entertaining and something crazy is going to happen. Last year we had the Kelsey to Tony lateral, but Tony was lined up off sides. 2 years ago, we got Josh Allen jumping over Justin Reed. The Bills having 2 or 3 third and 14s at the end of the first half to score a touchdown. It's always magic whenever these two teams play, and they match up so well with each other. And the reason you can tell this is going to be a big game, it's the only 3:25 game on in the afternoon.
Is it really?
It's a standalone game on CBS. Ethan, I think the Falcons Broncos is a 3:05 on Fox.
Oh, okay. I get you now. Yep.
Yeah, sorry. So, but the only game on CBS Sunday afternoon, all of America will be watching is Buffalo, Kansas City.
Yeah. Pacheco got activated today. I didn't know if you saw that.
I did see that.
Yeah. Adds a wrinkle.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll come off IR or something tells me he might wait till Black Friday when they play the Raiders because he's got those 21 days.
21 days, yeah.
So we'll see. And then also what Buffalo does well on offense, getting the ball to their tight ends and their back in the passing game. That's what the Chiefs struggle with. So it'll be interesting to see how Buffalo attacks the Chiefs' weakness on a good defense with Kincaid, Knox, and James Cooks out of the backfield.
Yeah.
So, again, I'm expecting an intense 3-point game with these two teams, and it's going to come down to the last minute.
And I think the Bills, they've won the last 3 or 4 regular season matchups. So maybe if you're the Bills, you're hoping you lose this game. So maybe the tides turn your way in the playoffs.
Yeah, Dylan, they've won the last 3 regular season games, all in Kansas City. And the Chiefs have won, of course, the 3 playoff games. And then they won the regular season game in 2020 in Buffalo.
That's right. That was a Monday COVID game because of
and originally
weird year. We don't want to discuss more of that year.
Dylan, fun fact, I think originally supposed to be a Thursday game, but got moved to Monday afternoon. Yeah, because Buffalo, they had some weird thing where they had to play on a Tuesday and this and that. It was supposed to be on a Thursday. They moved it to Monday. It was Monday Night Football with no fans, and it was a bad look.
It was. Just that year was just a bad look. But anyways, fellas, I said we have a surprise. I have a surprise for you at the end of the episode before we get to curveball of the week here. And it is Dakota Bowl 32 this week. So you two Minnesotans are going to pick the winners of the 4 divisions in North Dakota football. The state championship games are on Friday. Games start at 8 a.m. Mountain Time, and they go until the last game kicks off at 6:40, I believe, Mountain Time, right after the 6 o'clock news. So, guys, we'll get started. This is the division I coach in. This is the 11B matchup. Velva versus Kindred. The last 2 state champions. Velva won it in 22. Kindred won it last year over us. Kindred. These 2 teams played in the regular season in week 1. They won 13-6. Who are you guys picking?
I'm going Kindred because the Gophers got a player from them last year. Makes total sense.
They did. Their quarterback is actually committed to play at Army as a quarterback linebacker.
Interesting.
Here.
I'm going to go Velva just because I think it's a cooler name.
The Velva. Right. Do you know what the can you guess their mascots?
I have no idea.
No.
Isn't Kindred the Vikings?
Kindred is the Vikings.
The Vikings.
Kindred is the Vikings. Yeah.
I'm going to say Velva is the Leathernecks. It just kind of
the Beavers.
The Velva Beaver. They are the Velva Aggies. And actually they're a co-op. They're the Velva Drake Animus Garrison Aggies. They co-op with 4 different schools.
Okay, let's go to the next section because we're not going to remember that, and it makes my brain hurt.
Cordell Volson has twin brothers that play for Velva. I'm going to go with Velva just because Starcevic is banged up. He got hurt earlier in the year. He came back. He is not, and this is if Starcevic plays on defense, I think Kindred wins, but if he doesn't, I'm taking Velva. So 9B, so this is 9-man football. We have the New Rockford Cheyenne Rockets versus the Lemoore Litchville Marion Lobos here. Both Lemoore is averaging 66.5 points a game. New Rockford is averaging 60.5 points a game.
Wow.
I'm going with 60 because 66 is too close to the Devils' number. So whatever team is averaging 60, that's who we're going with.
New Rockford?
Yep, that sounds great.
Yeah, I'm going to go New Rockford also.
Okay.
Because
that is
anytime your team name is the Lobos, I just can't trust you.
That's fair.
Sorry, Richard. So I will also go with New Rockford as well because I have a history with Lemoore, and I will never cheer for that school or town ever because my senior year, we laid an absolute egg against them in the state quarterfinals and lost in basketball. So give me New Rockford. Also, New Rockford Cheyenne. Head coach Elliot Belquist, former NDSU Bison. His son is UND All-American wide receiver Bo Belquist. And the 11A game, a first-time state champion is going to be crowned in this one. The West Fargo Horace Hawks versus the Grand Forks Red River Rough Riders. Red River won when they played in the regular season 13-7.
Ooh.
Horace has been at school, a varsity school, for 3 years now.
Jeez.
Wow.
Well, I hate Grand Forks, so we're going with Red River.
No, Red River is in Grand Forks. It's Grand Forks.
Oh, well,
Red River.
The other team.
He's taking
West Fargo. Horace. All right.
Fargo. Yeah.
I lived in West Fargo. It was a nice community. It was a nice townhome I lived in. I'm taking West Fargo.
Yep.
West Fargo. The Horace Hawks.
They're green, aren't they?
No, that's the Packers.
Oh.
West Fargo Horace is new. They are black and gold, which is an all-time color combination.
Interesting.
So I'm going to go with West Fargo Horace as well. They're going to get their first state championship. And to top it off in the 11-2A state championship, the Fargo Davies Eagles versus the West Fargo Cheyenne Mustangs. These two teams played earlier in the year, and Davies won this game, and this is not a soccer score. They won 3-0. I don't know the last time that there has ever been a 3-0 high school game in the state of North Dakota because there's not many kickers.
I knew a girl that went to Cheyenne. They're the Catholic school, right?
No, that's Shanley.
Shanley.
That's where Dana went.
Okay. I still like the Mustangs. We'll go them.
So do you remember Tommy Oneman, Ethan? That's at Creighton Durham Hall.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to Notre Dame. That's where he played last year, is West Fargo Cheyenne.
Well, then I'm going the other team because F him. He went to Notre Dame.
All right, Fargo Davies.
Yep.
Well, once again, I lived in West Fargo and actually lived close to Cheyenne High School. So give me the Mustangs.
This one, that is a tough one. I think I got to go with West Fargo Cheyenne as well. I think both teams, West Fargo Cheyenne runs a triple option. I should have said that before.
Oh, we love that. We love that.
Oh, you should have seen the team that we played. They just got a new coach, but it was Cade Osterman. Where's he from? Elk River, right?
Elk River. Yeah.
So they run the offense that was invented before football. That one, I would take the triple option over that offense any day of the week. But I'm going to go with Davies won 3-0. I'm going to go with West Fargo Cheyenne.
Okay.
There it is. So that is those are our Dakota Bowl predictions here. So when you guys have your state championship, it's called the Prep Bowl, right?
Yep.
Look at me. I know my Minnesota sports. So I think, and it's over. Is it usually Thanksgiving weekend or is it the weekend before?
No, it's the weekend of Thanksgiving. This weekend should be semifinals, if I remember correctly.
Well, so it's tricky because Thanksgiving is so late this year. It might be the weekend before, unless they have a 2-week break.
I don't think they've played yet. Let me see.
Yeah, semifinals are this weekend, Ethan.
Yeah, I think they are. Yeah.
So state.
I can give you the semifinals here in a second.
We'll do the championships next weekend. How about?
Okay.
That's
so. So a little bit of a local flair. Predictions sure to go wrong here. So Ethan, before we wrap up the show, what do you got for us for Curveball of the Week?
What is your least favorite holiday?
Least favorite holiday. Well, Grant, we already know it's the one that we just celebrated on Monday. It's Veterans Day. Grant hates the troops and can't do 10 push-ups.
Yeah, because boomers are soft. Tell the TikTok user she can go fuck herself.
Perfect.
Ooh, my least favorite holiday?
I
the ones that I don't get off.
I think the stupidest holiday out there is Labor Day. Like, what?
I'm not gonna complain about getting a Monday off.
No, that's fair. And it's during the football season, but
honestly, I'm gonna go 4th of July. Like, it gets cool. Like, but all you do is drink. Like, maybe that's just because I'm old now. I don't know, but
well, you are 31.
I know, but I never really liked 4th of July. Like, I never really did anything.
Oh, that's my second favorite holiday after
Sorry.
Thanksgiving. You leave your fireworks and beer out, and Kid Rock comes.
You just blow shit up. I could do that any day of the week if I wanted to.
I like watching it. I'm not going to spend money on fireworks, but I enjoy watching. I enjoy being out on the lake with my family, hanging out, having a good time, doing kind of just chillaxing,
having a barbecue, going out for a boat ride, or just to get together at a campground. With that, it's hard to beat the 4th of July, and also if it lines up perfectly where the 4th is on a Thursday. If you're lucky enough, you'll have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday off.
That is correct.
Next year it's on a Friday.
It is on a Friday.
People are going to go on a bender next year.
Yeah.
On Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
No beer is safe.
No beer is safe next year.
My 4th of July, I had to be responsible because I was the only one working that day, and I had to make sure everybody showed up to work. Luckily, somebody just showed up a little bit late, and that was it. But
that's a win.
So, my least favorite holiday
is Halloween a holiday? Because I'll be honest, I think that's mine.
That's actually a fair one. Yeah,
I'm with you. With you. I'm too old.
And you know what?
Sure, I'll go out and get dressed up, but the last time I don't even know, when was the last time I celebrated Halloween? COVID, maybe? The year after?
COVID sounds right to me.
Because in 22, I was in Minneapolis because we were going to a Vikings game the next day. And there were people that were dressed up because...
Was that when they played the Cardinals?
That was when they played the Cardinals, and we were at Cowboy Jack's. And... very funny story that I'll tell you guys off air, but yeah, give me Halloween, my least favorite holiday.
Yeah, I just, I'm not a young, attractive girl where I can't dress up and look super hot. And
you can identify as one though.
I could, but I still don't look at the part, Dylan.
But yeah, it's Halloween for me.
Halloween for me.
So. But that wraps up this week's episode. Make sure you check us out on all of our social medias. Try to be a little bit more active of putting content out during the week here. But make sure you like, subscribe, leave a comment here on everywhere where our socials, 3GTV podcast, or if you just search the Three Guys Talking Ball podcast, it should be able to pop up. And thank you guys for listening. We'll talk to you next week.